Hello and welcome everybody to Game 2 of EmpireKas versus Grubby from IEM Kiev. This is from the Group B group stages and spawning here in the 9 o'clock position of Terminus as the Red Terran. Playing from Team Empire we have Kas. His opponent, the man who needs to win this game if he's going to want to push it to a Game 3, playing as the Green Protoss in the 12 o'clock position, we have Grubby. So, what is Grubby going to have in store for this map? He did lose Game 1, so he chose this map. So does he have something in particular planned for this map? We will have to see. For those of you that don't know, Terminus is a map that pretty much consists of 4 different spawning locations. This is a map for 4 possible players, one in the eastern position, western position, northern position, and southern position. And each of those areas have 3 bases. They have a main, they have a natural, and they have a very close by third that on this particular version of the map is blocked by destructible debris here, but it is a full third. On some versions of the map, this is not a full third. There are also other versions of this map where this ramp doesn't exist. In this version of the map, there is this ramp, the destructible debris are there, so they allow you to take a quick third, but you got to deal with some destructible debris before you do it, so it doesn't allow you to take a super fast third, because you have to get up enough army to be able to take out those destructible debris. Now, things that Kas could be going for on this map, there's a wide variety of options open to Kas on this map. Notice the huge amount of airspace behind the bases. If you check out any main base and you just go right behind it, good God, you can go forever back here. There's just forever and a day you can go on and on back there. That, of course, is always going to make drop play very, very strong, just because you can move in here with lots of medevacs, drop lots of things off, pick them right back up again, and just retreat back out to this area very, very safely. So, might see some drop play here out of Kas. The same could also go for Grubby. If we saw Grubby make use of some Warp Prism play, we might actually see that in this particular game, because for the exact same reason, Kas's base just has this huge area out behind it. There is some kind of a space station located in this northern position behind Kas's base, but that is exactly where Grubby can be hiding Warp Prisms if that is the path he decides to go for. One big notable thing about this map is that center map control is always critical. If we just take a quick peek at the mini-map really quick, then if you notice each of these bases that are in each of those corners of the map, then each one is connected by this big fat middle area. This big fat middle area with Xel'Naga watchtowers. These Xel'Naga watchtowers, if you control all 4 of those Xel'Naga watchtowers, you control all unit movement on the map that is on the ground. So, map control on this map is absolutely critical. A lot of times, Terran players will like to try to keep center control by having lots of siege tanks in the middle of the map, so that they can continue to hold these Xel'Naga watchtowers, completely lock down all ground transportation, and then just go for heavy drops on your opponent. So that's something that's very, very strong. Less commonly done against Protoss players, very common against Zerg players, just because Zerg players have a lot more trouble breaking siege tanks. Of course, Protoss players have those Immortals, which are very, very good at breaking those siege tank lines, as well as Colossi, really, really good super long-range units in general. Looks like both players going to be going for fairly fast expansions, as Grubby did expand off of just 1 gateway and his Cybernetics Core and Warp Gate research. He did move out into the middle of the map with a couple of Zealots and a probe here to take these Xel'Naga watchtowers. This is exactly what I was talking about. Now Grubby is perfectly safe in doing any kind of probing up, getting up as many workers as he wants, teching up a little bit, as we do see the robotics facility is going down already. We are only at the 5-minute and 45-second mark. He is just going for tech right now because he can, and he has that center map control. Now, a couple of Stalkers are now out on the field. Interestingly enough, he did pump those out of this 1 gateway, and he's now going to be moving into his opponent's base right now. There are a couple of bunkers up for Kas. This is going to tell Grubby right away that Kas is playing defensive right now, and he's not going to have to worry about any terribly early aggression here from Kas, because Kas is going to be just focusing mostly on playing defensively. with those bunkers, getting up that natural expansion, Grubby is pretty much going to be sure that this orbital command is up. If he didn't actually get a chance, no, I don't think he actually did see the orbital command, but from these 2 bunkers that were placed there, he can assume that they are going to be there. So far, 3 barracks are currently up right now for KAS, only 1 with Tech Lab, currently researching that stim pack ability, and it looks like he is going to be getting ready to drop down a factory here very soon. Yes, we do now see the factory going down. Once again, these stalkers going to be poking in at the front, just trying to apply a little bit of light pressure to his opponent. This is something that's very, very important to do in StarCraft. This is something that Day 9 talks about doing all the time. You always want to scout the front. You always want to scout the front and just poke in here, especially with a fast unit like a stalker that's very, very difficult to catch. Just poke in at the front, see what kind of army he's got at the front. KAS will almost always, or any player really, not just KAS, but any player in general will always have their army posted at the front of their base because, well, that's the best place to have it to be defensive. So if you poke in with 1 unit, they'll pretty much, even if his army's not there, you can start to do things like this, where you start to shoot his buildings and things that are there, and then he'll have to be forced to pull his entire army. So it's like getting a free scout off on your opponent. You just poke in with a couple of units and say, hey, I'm attacking your stuff, come stop me. And then he pulls all of his army units, and then you say, ah, so that's what you've been building this whole time, and then you just pull right on back, which is exactly what Grubby is doing. Really, really like that play. Sees that his opponent going right now very heavily on the Bioforces, sees that there's quite a few Marines as well as a Marauder out on the field here for KAS, and it looks like KAS actually going to be doing a little bit of poking on his own, going to be moving out here, taking this Xel'Naga watchtower, as Grubby is now being forced to pull back and just macro up a few more units, getting a lot of sentries out right now, focusing on sentries and stalkers for the most part. Has 1 zealot here to absorb a few initial hits, but these stalkers are really going to be he's going to really need to produce a lot of damage with those stalkers early on, while that zealot absorbs some damage and rely a lot on force fields to be able to manage his opponent's army. As you can see, Grubby starting to take down the destructible rocks to his 3rd. Looks like KAS is going to be doing the same. In the meantime, 1 observer is now out here for Grubby, so he does see that KAS is going to be gearing up for that 3rd. Did KAS actually see that observer is coming down? Nope, looks like KAS did not, just rearranging his units a little bit, or it's also possible that he just has no scan at this point in time, so he can't actually take it down. Now, the starport is now up with the reactor, and it looks like double medevacs are now being produced here for KAS. Food count right now just about even. If we check out the harvester count, we can see that Grubby is just a little bit up in harvesters, but that is actually going to translate to being just about even in resources, because Terran has, of course, those mules that are going to help keep him up and help make up for the fact that Grubby can be chrono boosting out those probes to be getting out probes much faster. We do see 1 forge is now out here, as well as the Twilight Council. I think Grubby might actually be going for Templar play in this game this early. The Twilight Council usually indicates that we're most likely going to be seeing Templar at some point in the near future. We do see a lot of warp gates now being thrown down. Total of 6 warp gates here for Grubby. We do see the Forge researching +1 ground weapons. Similarly for KAS, we do see that the +1 ground weapons is coming up somewhere around here. There it is. +1 infantry weapons has been completed. +1 infantry armor just now being started as well. So we are going to be seeing that very soon. We do see that combat shield is just now finishing up here for KAS as well. So it looks like KAS is going to be going for a very heavy bio play this game, as he does have a lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders, and a lot of Medevacs now coming out on the field here. KAS did have 1 Marine here placed at the 3rd base of Grubby, so he does know that Grubby is trying to gear up to take that expansion. In the meantime, just continuing to produce lots and lots and lots of Marine, Marauder, Medevac coming out right now. This factory is just going to be sent to his opponent's base to do some scouting information. We do see an armory is now up here for KAS. Gonna have to see if he's going to be going for those early upgrades on those mech units. That would be very interesting, or those air units. It'd be very interesting to see a +1 armor come down just for medevacs. That would be actually very interesting. Whoa. We do see that infantry weapons level 2 is now on the way for KAS, and KAS is loading up a big drop of medevacs here, and oh, Grubby is prepared for this. He does have a lot of Blinkstalkers in position to be able to stop this, and he does focus down 2 of the medevacs, but holy cow, those bio forces are strong. They all just got dropped off there, stimmed up real quick, and took down those stalkers so fast, and now Grubby is now going to be forced to pull back to be able to deal with this. In the meantime, a small group of Marines and Marauders is moving into the 3rd, and is Grubby going to get the cancel? No, Grubby doesn't cancel and actually loses 100 resources here, as this drop is actually continuing to do quite a bit of damage as he managed to pick off quite a few workers there, I think. Now, only 5 workers killed so far, but a couple of pylons were taken out, which did slow this charge upgrade, which was coming down, and of course allowed these forces to force that, or not force a cancel, but actually destroy that Nexus that was going down, and now there are a few Marauders here picking off a few more probes in the back. One more stim going down on those Marauders as they are pretty much destined to die, as Kos is just leaving them there to pick off as many workers as they can. In the meantime, continuing to macro up more and more Marines and Marauders here in the base of Kos. We do see a Ghost Academy that has now come down from Kos, so we're going to be seeing some Ghost production here from Kos very shortly. Going to be seeing a lot of bio play from Kos, which should actually be very, very interesting to see. I don't know, those ghosts are real good, and I just don't know. It looks like the Psy Storms are now coming down for Grubby, and I don't know. This is all going to come down to control of those high-tech units like Ghosts and Templar. If these Psy Storms go down on Bioforces, Psy Storms will take out Bioforces so fast that Kos will he'll just lose his army straight up if he's not real careful. But on the other hand, Ghosts with their EMPs can take down the shields of a very large Protoss army very quickly. And also, if he's able to EMP those High Templar, rendering them pretty much useless other than to warp into Archons, then that'll pretty much be the end of Grubby's army here. So we have a very precarious position for both of these players, as it is all going to come down to very careful control. Now, Grubby looks like he's going to be trying to take a very fast third, as Kos decided to try to deny this third from going down as long as possible by landing his factory in the spot that Grubby wants to expand. Now, that factory is actually going to pull back. It is now on fire, though, and there is no fire extinguisher on board any factory, which I always thought was a little bit odd. No Terran buildings have fire extinguishers built in. They seriously have to have a little dude in a spacesuit come stop the fire from outside, really? Like, you're I mean, not to mention we're in space. There's no oxygen in space, right? So you can't have fire, right? I'm not gonna think about it too hard, because then it makes my brain hurt. I'm just gonna continue to think about these wonderful compositions that both these players are going for as a sentry count. Getting pretty high here. The Zealots do have charge research now, so that is also gonna help very much with the Bioforces. With those charge slots, they will be able to directly engage this army, and with sentries, the idea is that sentries will be able to get in their force field behind the bio army, while Zealots kind of sandwich them from the front, giving a good amount of time for Grubby's High Templar to be able to Psystorm that army. Grubby losing one Psystorm there a little bit carelessly there, doesn't quite hit anything. Now going to be forcing this army back here, blinking forward a little bit, but Kos manages to pull back a few of his forces there, and beautiful EMP goes down by Kos as one of those Archons and a lot of those Zealots get caught in it, and another wasted Psystorm goes down for Grubby, only doing a little bit of damage to the Ghosts, and oh no! Grubby managing to miscontrol his units just a little bit, leaving his Templar out in the open, and an EMP goes down and gets every single one of those Templar, and now Grubby knows that he is pretty much cut off, as look at this cut that Kos is making. He's cutting straight across this line here so that he cuts Grubby's army off from all of his reinforcements there, and now both of those Archons getting picked off very quickly as EMPs are going down, as Grubby's frantically trying to get back to his army, but Kos is saying, nope, you are not getting back home to base, as my entire army is just going to be constantly in the way. Beautiful EMPs going off all over the entire army of Grubby, as Grubby GG's out of game 2, and Kos cleans it up with a clean 2-0 with those Bioforces, with those beautiful EMPs. Brilliant EMPs there from Kos here in game 2. That means that Grubby has lost this best of 3, and Kos takes the series. Holy cow, I did not expect that. I kind of wanted to see Grubby win a match or two. Grubby's just so good. It's too bad, but man, that was such a well-played game by Kos. I can't believe how well he played that game. That was unbelievable. Those were some amazing EMPs. So I hope you guys enjoyed that just as much as I enjoyed casting it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. Please comment down below to let me know what I can do to make these casts better, because I am always trying to improve myself. I'm trying to do some new overlays and things very shortly here. I'm kind of getting bored of the same old overlays, getting tired of these things over here, just using the same ones all the time. Also want a new update for my YouTube channel. Hopefully those should be coming down sometime next month, early next month, if I can manage it. So thank Thanks again for watching, you guys. Big heart going out to all you subscribers, and that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Glitch out.